But I want to start out with this question: what is the world in which conservatives live? We know it's not the traditional world that the conservative philosophy would define. Right? I mean, conservatism at its core means slow, gradual change and maintaining the status quo of society. Look it up. I mean, this is just liberals are more likely to embrace change and trying to constantly improve society. Conservatives are trying to keep society as it is. And neither of these are praise or hits, okay? Because sometimes it works out for both, and sometimes it doesn't for both. And then you have, you go beyond that, you got radicals who want to change no matter what. Or not even no matter what. And then you've got reactionaries who want to undo change, massive change, long-term change, no matter what. So if you look at, the traditional liberal would say, okay, we ended slavery, and then we gave African-American men the right to vote, then we gave women the right to vote, and then we gave, right? First of all, just this whole paternalistic, patriarchal, white guy patting everybody in the head language, but that's how America speaks to itself. And then African Americans right across the, in the 60s, everybody got the right to vote, in theory anyway, banning things like these so-called literacy tests and poll taxes. We passed an amendment to the Constitution. These are all progressive changes. Liberals supported all of these things. Conservatives opposed them all. Conservatives said, no, wait a minute, we shouldn't end slavery because, it'll slowly, gradually go away maybe, but even if it doesn't, hey, it's what we've got. We shouldn't allow African Americans to vote. We shouldn't do Reconstruction. We shouldn't allow women to vote. We shouldn't allow, this is historically the conservative perspective. But at the time, right, back in the 1860s, conservatives were saying, no, don't end slavery, the 1850s. And in the 1930s, they were saying, in 40s and 50s and 60s, they were saying, don't let African Americans vote and let banks continue to redline and things. But nowadays, when you get Republicans, like in the state of Georgia right now, where they're taking early voting from, as I recall, 42 days back to 24 days, now down to 12 days, when they're making it harder and harder to vote. And then the voter ID laws that, about half of all college students who are over 18 don't have an ID that would satisfy the voter ID laws. And many of them, like in the state of Texas, the voter ID laws specifically say, even if you have an ID from a state college, that doesn't qualify as state-issued government ID. Although it may be harder to get into college than to get a passport and demonstrate your citizenship. So, in any case, what's the world that conservatives live in now? These people who call themselves conservative, I would call them reactionaries. Here we have the state of Oklahoma saying, no, we don't want to teach advanced placement history. Now, the AP courses are put together by a private organization. It's the College Board, isn't it? Something like that. It's whatever it is. It's a private organization that puts together these AP classes. And the whole point of an AP class is so that you can get college credit while you're in high school. And in fact, for a lot of elite colleges, if you didn't do basically your entire senior year in AP classes, it's like, why would we take you? And so Oklahoma wants to basically outlaw them. So they're anti-intellectual. Now you got Scott Walker. One guy made a arguably elitist comment, Howard Dean, on MSNBC. I think he was talking with Chris Matthews. It was some weeks ago. He said, this guy didn't even graduate from college. They were talking about why Scott Walker refused to acknowledge that evolution exists. And Howard Dean's comment was, well, maybe he's just not that well educated. Literally, maybe he never studied it. He is not a college graduate. Now, Howard Dean has a MD. He understands college. But I don't care if Scott Walker has a degree, and I don't think most Democrats or liberals care if Scott Walker has a degree. But the right is turning this into this manufactured, phony. I mean, they're taking this one clip from Howard Dean. Nobody else is saying this. I mean, nobody else is saying this. And Howard Dean has already walked it back. He said, well, it's probably, too much. And the conservatives are playing it over and over and over again, as if to say, oh, those pointy-headed liberals, those Democrats, they don't want somebody running for president unless he has a college degree. I guess they wouldn't want you running for president, just like they don't want Scott Walker, right? This is the logic, right? But nobody's saying this. It's a straw man. They're making it up. Here's another one. Marie Harf is a spokeswoman for the State Department. And she was on the Chris Matthews show, and she was talking to Chris about ISIS. And this is here's a clip out of context that Sean Hannity went nuts on. Here is what she said, out of context. Keep in mind, there's a piece of this missing. Here it is.
We cannot win this war by killing them. We cannot kill our way out of this war. We need, in the longer term, medium and longer term, to go after the root causes that leads people to join these groups, whether it's lack of opportunity for jobs.
We're not going to be able to stop that in our lifetime or 50 lifetimes. There's always going to be poor people. There's always going to be poor Muslims. And as long as there are poor Muslims, the trumpet's blowing. They'll join. We can't stop that, can we?
We can work with countries around the world to help improve their governance. We can help them build their economy so they can have job opportunities for these people. You're right. There is no easy solution in the long term to preventing and combating violent extremism. But if we can help countries work at the root causes of this, what makes these 17-year-old kids pick up an AK-47 instead of try to start a business? Maybe we can try to chip away at this problem while at the same time going after the threat, taking on ISIL in Iraq, in Syria.
Now, she's absolutely right. What's missing is what makes Sean Hannity's response so mind-boggling. And I will share this with you in 4 minutes when we come back to this subject. But the conservative worldview is basically, well, actually, I would love you to contribute to this conversation. Scott Walker's afraid to say that he believes in evolution because of the conservatives, right? Marco Rubio is afraid to say that he knows anything about global warming because he's not a scientist. And it's not just Marco Rubio. It's right across the board. All the Republicans, they're all saying, well, I'm not a scientist. They're anti-science. They're anti-education. Rick Perry wanted to do away with what? The Department of, what was it? I mean, what world do these guys live in?